my first immediate gut reaction, George Pickens traded from the Steelers to the Cowboys. Steelers now have DK Metcalf. They've got Roman Wilson. They've got Calvin Austin. They ain't got anything else. Dallas Cowboys get George Pickens. They've got CeeDee Lamb. Rest of the receiver room's pretty barren. It's pretty empty. I question who actually wins in this situation. Who actually got anything out of this? Did anybody actually net a positive trade? I think that the Dallas Cowboys, this move is going to work out really well for them. I think that George Pickens' physical style, the way that he is able to corral the ball when it's just thrown in his direction, the way that Dak likes to just set up his guys to succeed when he's out there and he's starting, just throw the ball in their direction. Hopefully they come down with it. I think that George Pickens is conducive to offensive success and a step forward for Dallas here. And I'm not going to say that Jerry Jones was truly smart enough during the draft to think, hey, yeah, no, we're planning to take George Pickens. We're not going to draft any receivers during this draft class. I'm still a little bit against them not having some sort of a contingency plan or even considering drafting someone. But I think that having Pickens in the room as your second receiving option, instead of them ending up drafting Tedero McMillan, who would have been playing a very similar role, this is taking this offense a huge step forward.
To your question, who won this? That is who's winning in a decision between eggshell white and ivory white. It's seashell white, the team that wasn't involved, the team that said, we're going with seashell, and you two jackasses can go schlop it up and Arthur Smith it up alone in peace. We're not getting involved. Reports coming out about teams laughing, I think per the Athletic or Bleacher Report, laughing at the premise of having George Pickens in the locker room. I thought he was a good player. I thought he just played hard. Now we're starting to reveal some light on the whole situation. Again, a report's a report. I haven't seen a GM. I haven't seen a coach say, yeah, there was no shot we're getting George. We're not going after that dude. So it's just a report. But the Cowboys, I like it because George Pickens makes Dallas exciting, which is what they've been lacking over the last 3 years. George Pickens also young, versatile at the wide receiver position, and you're helping out Dak. Dak can't do it all on his own. We all know that at this point. So I think the Cowboys are coming out much stronger than the Steelers, even though the Steelers' track record of letting receivers go has been exponentially in their favor, given the success rate of Steelers receivers post Antonio Brown. I'd even throw some in before Antonio Brown for that.
Well, I think that naturally for me, the Steelers are the losers in this situation because they don't. It's DK and then no one. And I don't even know if DK can be the only receiver. I'm sure he's going to be productive, but him as your only option, how does your offense look? Can it actually be capable enough with just him, with a rookie running back and Mason Rudolph? Let me pitch this in the opposite direction, though. So one thing that's been brought up is how Mike Tomlin has managed toxic personalities in the past. The Antonio Brown, you traded him away to the Raiders, and then it all kind of comes out like, oh, this dude was a psychopath. And Tomlin was able to keep this relatively under wraps. Pickens, it wasn't under wraps. It was pretty out in front of our faces. All of the problems he was getting himself into on the field.
He was fighting on the field, Joseph. He was punching players on the field.
He was fighting on the field, and then he was also apparently showing up late, showing up untimely. He was a healthy scratch a number of times.
Yeah.
I would argue less control. The perfect guy to have him Brian Schloppenheimer is not going to control him at all. I don't think he's going to try to control. I keep hearing these interviews with him, and they're asking him his team building philosophy and all this stuff, and how he wants to be a player's coach and all this. And he's trying to get to know everybody. He's taking everybody out to dinner. First of all, that dinner with George Pickens is going to be really interesting. Second of all, I think that as little control as possible and letting George Pickens run free like a butterfly, we're going to get the true version of George Pickens. I want uncaged George Pickens.
You'll get it in Dallas, Joe. You'll get that.
Exactly.
Thank you, Danny Diaz. $5 super chat. Pickens is less of a locker room issue and more of just a weirdo.
See, that's how I'm reading it. I think he's just weird, and I think that the whole Pittsburgh roster, nobody knew how to match his energy. I think that Jerry Jones and all the weirdos in Dallas are going to know how to match his energy.
We're going to get another fight on the star, which I love. That is a memorable moment for me in Dallas.
I don't mean to cut you off, but that's a perfect example. Terrell Owens was not the same level of menace, but he was kind of a menace when he was playing.
Mount Rushmore, both of them, at least for wide receivers. I'd have them both up there. It's real interesting because Dallas, I don't think a normal person could operate in that type of environment. As we've heard at least rumblings. I know there were rumors that have since been somewhat dispelled about Jerry only cares about getting people in the building to tour and pay and ticket price to see Jerry World and all that. And players, there were reports about the players that were talking about, oh yeah, we were trying to work out, and then tour groups would come by, look at you, try to hang clean. You got to be a different type of cat to play in Dallas. You got to be an even bigger, different type of cat to succeed in Dallas. George Pickens, this is crash out city or legacy time.
I think it's legacy time.
I am leaning legacy time.
I think it's legacy time. Nothing I hate more than a guy who is deemed, quote, problematic, a distraction, all of those things, and they get sent off to Jacksonville or Tampa or Cleveland. And they're just kind of shipped to a very quiet city because said quiet city is only willing to take them on because they think in a different environment that is not in the spotlight will help them realize their potential. No, those guys go crazy. Those guys thrive on chaos. They thrive on everything being all over the place. I think that George Pickens, he was born for this. He was born to be a Dallas Cowboy. His energy and his play style, not only on the field, but also just in the locker room, in the mix, in the media. That one Dallas station that has Jerry Jones on every single week, I want a booked paid spot every single week George Pickens on. He doesn't need to give me a full sentence. I don't even think I've ever heard George Pickens talk, if I'm being completely honest, but we need to set that up. He needs to be doing a weekly spot for them.
Now, I saw something, if we're now I'm going to play some matchmaker here. I saw this inspired take on X today about Cowboys adding one more piece for Schottenheimer. Nick Chubb. Schloppenheimer, pardon me. The Nick Chubb connection. I didn't even know Schloppenheimer was at Georgia when Nick Chubb was there. Nick Chubb, technically available.
Do they have anything left? Dude, they have 6 running backs.
Do they have one good running back?
No. And he would,
Nick Chubb would be.
He would fall into the current group that they assembled of Javonte Williams and
Chubb
Miles
better.
Sanders.
Chubb more better.
No, but you're just you have 2 rookies. One of said rookies had a completely serious injury, Phil Maffa, that impacted his ability to finish the year last year, and he powered through it. But all 3 of those guys, the wheels are falling off of all 3 of those guys if Nick Chubb enters the room. That doesn't excite me.
Chubb excites me.
Chubb has suffered so many gruesome, significant injuries at this point. And am I supposed to believe that is he 30 yet? Is Nick Chubb 30 yet? Let me look that up. There was another player.
He's Schrodinger's 30.
He's 29.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I felt like I could say he was or wasn't.
I don't know if that really, really excites me, though.
He excites me. Nick Chubb is a dude. He is a guy. He's a pro. He's a pro. That Dallas backfield isn't filled with pros. They're filled with guys that have spent time in the league. There's a big difference, Joe. Correct?
Running back is the one position where I don't care if I have a veteran leader. If you're banged up and you're constantly hurt you've suffered gruesome injuries at the one position I need health, that doesn't matter to me.
Who's the veteran leader on the team then? Who is
Dak Prescott?
That's done what? Besides be appointed leader because of the position that he plays. Who is the leader on that team?
It's Dak Prescott. I'm going to keep saying it. What do you mean, what has he done? He's had high-level statistical performing seasons. He just hasn't lived up to the Cowboys' expectations. We talked about this last week when we did shit or not shit.
I bet he's lived up to the Cowboys' expectations. He hasn't lived up to the nation's expectations for the Cowboys quarterback. Big difference.
Changing your tune from
I
Sunday.
don't think that. I think they need a pro's pro, and that's Nick Chubb. Squat-a-thon all year in Dallas. Get the team ready. Run through some defensive tackles in training camp. Ruffle some feathers, and then the offense has the attitude. Good. George Pickens fighting people? Great. This team needs to be adjusted. They're not good enough as is. We both know that.
Are you buying into I'm still not for that. Are you buying into the rumors that Alan Lazard Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson are now rumored to be potential receivers who could get traded to or end up on the Steelers. Are you buying into that?
What Alan Lazard? What am I missing here? You named Alan Lazard, Jordy Nelson, who retired in 2017, and Donald Driver, who retired in 2016.
Yes. Greg Jennings.
Oh, they're trying to sweep the pot. Okay, you know what? Literal Sean was in here for a moment.
I thought you were picking up on it, so I kept going.
It was so ridiculous that it irritated me into being literal. The Steelers are crumbling in front of my eyes.
I feel like Alan Lazard's going to end up being there.
Why answer me this? Can you put on your scouting hat real quick? Just give me some real deal football analysis here. I know you're good at that.
Sounded a little like you're patronizing.
Well, we like the bullshit on here. We don't put on that radio spot tone. Can you do a radio spot tone for me real quick? What is Alan Lazard good at? What is the benefit he brings to your team?
He's big. I know you wanted like a real analysis. He's just big. He's big, and Aaron Rodgers likes him. That has been Aaron Rodgers' his go-to, his whole these whole past 5-6 years is that he just surrounds himself with the people that he likes. So when he's not allowed to surround himself with the people that he likes, he's out on it. I bet you they will try to trade for Alan Lazard in the next couple months.
He can't learn to like DK Metcalf. He seems like a pretty likable guy.
Yeah, Lazard doesn't fit with Metcalf. I saw that there was an actual rumor about Lazard, but the other speculation of the other Packers cast-offs, if you will, made me think that was just a total BS projection by people saying that Lazard just kind of follows him around like a puppy dog wherever Rodgers goes because Rodgers has to. He's like
break it off, man. I don't know what Alan Lazard does well at this point.
Nothing. He's never done anything well.
You're getting eviscerated by a very narcissistic chat member right now, by the way. Danny Diaz. Hey,
Why
Joe.
Is he narcissistic?
Talking about veteran running backs. Barkley, Henry Jones. He got you there.
That's a very small. Okay, but for the amount of.
I'd also throw in Adrian Peterson on the Skins when he was there. That dude was booming. And they cut his ass and it got worse.
There are so many. I'm talking about guys that are like over the age of 28 and that have had multiple injuries. Saquon does not fit that. Derrick Henry is an exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. So I'm not counting that.